And good morning. Okay, so I am going to talk a little bit this morning about the the Titanic sub thing, and I hate for it to be this way, but let's be real. We're opening this show at this time. It's probably over. They ran out of the sub ran out of breathable oxygen a little over an hour ago, I think. The likelihood that there are survivors remaining, I'm gonna say probably slim to none. But there are more than a few things worth talking about here. And hey, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this from the comments because I've got Legion here who says, licensed commercial diver here. They are at 12 atmospheres. A single nut at the wrong torque rating would cause the thing to implode. Based on their QA/QC protocols, they are dead. And then Steve, the Banhammer, says guaranteed over. 96-hour life support claims were never tested, and that's true. So there's a few things that I really want to get into with this. Hey, thoughts and prayers to the family and all that stuff. Sure, it breaks my heart for them, but first and foremost, I think it's important to acknowledge. Y'all chose this, right? They chose this. Now, uh, I've seen takes on this from Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro, both released while there was still some hope of survival, and they had very different takes. Both takes began similarly with the why is everybody being so mean to these people, and that doesn't quite make sense. Ben was especially critical of the quality of the machine, the value of the machine, etc., and how the machine came about. But then Matt Walsh had a fantastic monologue about how, hey, this is the very spirit of exploration, and I'm gonna have to agree with Matt on that. Even given that the submarine, the quality of the vehicle, is definitely in question. There was an interview with the founder, and here's the website. And there was an interview with the founder and an interview with some of the people who've gone down before. And that's also worth mentioning. This is not the first trip that has been taken in this particular submarine. So that there was an expectation for people that everything would be okay was based at least in part on the company having a track record of some success. It says the Titan is a revolutionary carbon fiber and titanium submersible with a depth range of 4,000 meters that provides access to almost 50% of the world's oceans. Titan ushers in a new era of crewed submersible exploration and is the only sub in the world that can take 5 crew members to these depths. And apparently, that claim is not entirely unfounded because it has taken a couple of trips before. Now, that said, like I said, my heart breaks for the friends and family of the people that have just been lost. And Legion says, pull the mic closer. How's that, Legion? I'll turn up the gain a little bit too. Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna stop reading comments for a minute, and I'm going to attempt to take all of those comments into account. I lost my track for a second. Okay, so spirit of exploration. Matt Walsh makes the argument, and I agree with his contention that that in the spirit of exploration, people with the resources to go somewhere that no one has ever been, that they do it is how we achieve actual progress, how we cross the ocean and discover a new world, how we learn whether or not that scary red fruit is poison or tomato sauce. The spirit of exploration is a vital and important thing for humanity. But that said, the risk of exploration is one that cannot be subsidized without causing greater harm. So if you've got resources that you wish to put at risk in the pursuit of great reward, hey, more power to you. You go put your electric car on the moon, or go see if you can take pictures of the Titanic. Awesome. Even if you want to just take that wealth, take those resources and risk them on an adventure generally, go climb Everest, go hike through the suicide forest in Japan, do do your adventure. Awesome. But understand that you assume that risk. I did not voluntarily assume that risk. I have voluntarily assumed other risks, different risks. And please believe, when I was hunting terrorists, you were not going to be called in personally to pull me out if I screwed that up. I volunteered to take that risk. And the only people who were going to be risked in order to save me if something went wrong were other people who had voluntarily accepted that risk. I think I've talked about this on the show before with rich people going out, oh, hey, we're going to sail our boat around the world. Oh, crap, we got in trouble. And now the taxpayers have to foot the bill for rescue helicopters and to send out another boat with a crew. And all of a sudden, we're spending thousands, if not millions of dollars on sending equipment out to conduct a rescue over some people who took a stupid risk. Or, well, I won't even call it a stupid risk. They took a calculated risk, a voluntary risk. And the cost of assuming the harm resulting from that risk should not be a burden that lays on the rest of us. Alex says the difference between you and these guys is they could have changed their mind at the last minute. The government wouldn't have let you do that. That's fair. That is a fair rebuttal and criticism of the position. And I don't disagree. There is some nuance there that I can't get into because of the nature of what I did. But suffice it to say, I had a lot personally. I had a lot more discretion at my disposal than your average soldier when I was overseas. I had a lot more authority to choose targets. And then, okay, so I've got T-Rex Sorass. I love Twitch names. T-Rex Sorass says you make a valid point, but exploration without a return is a suicide mission. The two harshest conditions are deep sea and deep space. Correct. Everyone told Sub Guy his rig wasn't rated for that depth, like going into war with blanks. Okay, so yes. And Danny, the Fit Life coach, says, I'll call it a stupid risk. They went with inexperienced people in a machine that was known not to be up to the task. And Legion says, wireless controller, question mark. A USB cord may have prevented this. And that's actually a great point. It's possible to have a wireless controller with an optional USB cord. And speaking to somebody who's had to charge batteries and make sure that his NVGs were going to work at the critical moment, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Redundancies are almost without exception never a bad idea. Right? Hell, the wireless controller has batteries. It maybe, USB cord, yes. How about just extra batteries? Because who knows what could have happened. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, 2 is 1, and 1 is none. Those are, they sound like stupid little cliches, but let me tell you something. That shit works. Now, it looks, there's some criticism, and I don't disagree. If I understand correctly, the guy basically built these subs himself out of off-the-shelf parts. Now, so, you know what? I could very happily get into one of these subs and go play with it. Say, in Lake Sinclair, where 4,000 feet is not is not even an option. Alex, the TPS report says, unfortunately, I think they were dead 90 minutes in. I suspect you are correct. We've been talking about that in the infamous thread. And like you guys know, I'm never going to fully expose the infamous thread to anybody, but I'll show you some of the memes. This is the other thing that I want to get back to. Okay, let me take a breath and slow down for a second. I've been engaging with the chat a lot this morning and kind of gotten off track. Let me get back to this real quick. So, point. In the spirit of exploration and the spirit of absolute liberty, I absolutely support engaging in endeavors of this kind. If you have the resources to do it, hell yes, go exploring. Even if you do it just for the fun of it, I think you should be free to take even stupid risks. Now, I also think that everybody around you should be free to express their concerns. And hopefully the result is either you determine that the risk is not worth taking, and you don't, or by wise counsel you make your war, and the free advice of the people around you yields nuggets of valuable information and analytic data that you can use to lower the risk threshold and have a more successful endeavor, right? That said, when you assume a risk personally and voluntarily, that is your risk, not ours. So, I'm glad that there are people brave enough to take the chance. In a way, I'm glad that they took the dive. That's not to say I'm glad that they died. And I think at this point, we're pretty sure that they're dead. Like Alex said, I think they were probably dead 90 minutes in. And yes, that it sounds like the likely scenario is about the time they hit that 4,000 mark, that the thing probably just imploded on itself. It was probably crushed under the 12 atmospheres of pressure from the mere depth. Now, let me get back to the reactions. So we've had the lefties putting out the memes, the billionaire on the pots and pans submarine watching the Flex Seal come loose 1,000 feet down. Okay, this one's just kind of funny. This isn't so much the hating on him, but me getting upset and throwing the controller at everyone else on the submarine, that's just funny. When you find out the $200,000 you spent on a submarine ride wasn't the round trip price. Now, that brings up another point, though. The value of the ticket. And Shapiro pointed this out, and he's not wrong. There is a commercial market bias, especially among American consumers, that a high price tag justifies itself psychologically, right? If something says Gucci on it and they want $2,000 for the t-shirt, well, it says Gucci on it. It must be worth $2,000. And in fairness, because of that mentality, because of that psychological marketing effect, in a way, if you can afford $2,000 for a t-shirt that says Gucci on it, it is worth what you think it's worth. If other people thinking it's worth that has its own value to you. So that makes it a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. But some of the comments from the people that went on the previous trips on the sub supported that the fact that the tickets were $250,000 made it seem like there was a lot of value there. But they also said that there was very little information on the website about the submarine itself. And then they were disappointed when they saw the submarine that they had paid $250,000 to take a ride on. But those same people, there's something else that they didn't say. They didn't say that they asked for their money back. Because they didn't. They took the ride. And apparently, they had a good time. But they still had criticisms and concerns about the boat, even after having paid the money and gone on the trip. There it is. And so Uncle Steve says, by the way, Legion, if saturated at, say, 12,000 feet, those boys, it's okay if you get back to the surface to decompress. Half a year to decompress. Yeah, that I'm not a diver. I don't have a good understanding of how the decompression and the bends thing works. Let me see if the bat phone is up and running. Okay, I'm gonna plug that in, and maybe I can get either Steve or I'll let you know when it's up. Maybe I can get either Steve or Legion to phone in and talk about the pressurization piece. Then here's the meme that I wanted to look at, where I've seen this meme format used before. I love seeing people smile at their phones in public. They received happy news. Is it a text from a loved one, perhaps? What could be instilling such joy in that moment? And then the last thing is dark humor. And in this case, it's not really dark humor. It's just mean-spirited nonsense. Bring it up. If the sub is on the ocean floor, experts say that a sub rescue is unlikely. Only a handful of submersible craft exist that could reach the depths of the Titanic wreck. Even if they could reach it, submersibles do not have the power to tow the missing vessel up to the surface. If it's on the ocean floor, the number of unknowns is enormous. We know more about the moon's surface than the bottom of the ocean because we just haven't surveyed it, said Jamie Pringle, a forensic geoscientist at Keele University in Britain. And that is, as I understand it, that is the case. It's easier to examine the surface of the moon than it is to examine the bottom of the ocean. Okay, let me see. I've got... Okay, Legion points out, yes, but they need to be in a hyperbaric chamber, and they would need to be already in it before the ascent. Alex says, or a pressure-regulated container. Isn't the submarine itself technically the hyperbaric chamber? Uncle Steve says saturation decompression is 4 feet per hour. Even if they reach it, the only way out of the Ocean Gate sub is the window with 17 bolts. No airlock, no escape hatch. There is no... Yeah, that's another point, is the way that it's put together. They're literally just bolted into the sub. It's not like a bulkhead hatch with a pressure wheel on it. So yeah, I think it's probably highly unlikely that even their bodies will be recovered. And I think I honestly don't know what more to say about it at this point. But the mean-spiritedness of the lefties on this, It's quite simply, Democrats are hateful people. They're just rejoicing in the death of these people, and only because these people are wealthy. Just pure meanness. When you know, if it was full of a bunch of clown-faced trannies, we would have the entire full force of the U.S. Navy engaged in trying to submerge a fucking aircraft carrier to go pull them up. And I don't know what else to say about that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it right there. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it right there. Tomorrow is Friday. It'll be Firearms Friday. So we will see you again back here at 0730. And we'll get through some DGUs and a little safety brief. Y'all be safe out there today. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.